Hi everyone, welcome to the Fight with Teddy Atlas, presented by Fiofo. I'm Teddy Atlas III, and joined as always by boxing legend, my main man, my father, my best buddy, Teddy Atlas. How you doing, bud?
Good. I'm good. We just, I want to say something real quick. When you have a relationship, it's a two-way street, right? A friendship, relationship. We have a relationship with these guys, our audience, and we appreciate them. They're there for us. They give us an audience. There's no reason to do this without them. And we're there for them. Just a reminder, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Not crying or nothing, not, asking for any medals. We're doing our jobs. We're being pros. But, again, it's a relationship. We appreciate you guys. And we always try to be there for you. So here we are, 2 o'clock in the morning. We just finished doing a live stream. We hope that a lot of you were on the live stream. We had a good audience. On the live stream. It turned out to be a good fight. We'll get into it in a minute. I mean, we're talking about the fight in Barclays Center. We're on Staten Island. Right across the bridge is Brooklyn, New York, one of the 5 boroughs. And at the Barclay Arena was Zayas, the young Zayas, 23-year-old, against Ennis. And we'll break everything down. But again, you're here for us. We're here for you. And we appreciate it. And I will let my son take it from there. Also, I know that we will not see you again until next week. And it will have been the 4th of July. So I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. And a safe one. If you're playing around with the fireworks, play around safely, okay?
Yeah, and we, talking about 4th of July, we did get some fireworks in this fight that we're going to cover. You just touched on it. It was a good fight while it lasted, and that's Jaron Boots Ennis versus Xander Zayas, as you just said, in Brooklyn, New York at the Barclay. It was a fun one, bud, and I guess Vegas did get it right. There was a reason why Boots was a massive favorite and over 5-1 favorite.
Got a little hairy. 3rd and 4th round. But yes.
It did, and it started off, though, with Boots in full control. Scored a big knockdown early in the fight, and maybe he lost a little concentration, and he gave a moment to Zayas in that 3rd round, as you said, to have his moment, and put Boots. Legs were wobbling. He was in big trouble. He survived it. He composed himself, turned it right back around in the 5th round, scored another knockdown, and then we get to the 7th round, and he just poured it on. To the head, to the body. He showed it all. As you said, so precise, so accurate. A sharp shooter. Very impressive. 7th round stoppage. At the end of the day, Zayas had to take a knee, and that was it. Ref stopped the fight. He did not want to continue.
He broke him down.
He did. I just want to get right into it and just get your take. As you said, we did do the live stream over here, YouTube, Teddy Atlas The Fight. And we had a lot of fun doing it. You commentated it. We covered it there. But we're going to cover it now for the podcast. Want to hear your thoughts?
Yeah, get right in. Let's get right to it. Full transparency. I got the pick wrong. We've been hot the last month.
You didn't get the pick wrong in the fight. You favored Boots to win. You thought the fight would go the distance as we were looking for value at the ropes, TeddyAtlasBoxing.com.
Yeah, and so I got that wrong. It didn't go obviously it didn't go the rounds. I did like Ennis, but I wasn't going to lay. I thought Zayas was a live dog, to be honest. He looked like one in the 3rd and 4th round for a minute, but I wasn't going to lay 500. So, and I wasn't going to ask people to lay 500. So I looked for the prop. I always do. And look, we got it wrong. But in the last month and a half, 2 months, we going into this, not including UFC, just purely boxing. My son will correct me if I'm wrong. We were 7 wins out of 8. We were 7 out of 8 wins going in. We lost this one. We got some tomorrow. You got Zuffa Boxing tomorrow. We're going to give you some previews later for the fights next week. We got a couple of fights next week. Tomorrow we got De Los Santos against Valenzuela. And we gave out De Los Santos. And here's the funny thing. I'll leave it up to my son, but my son thinks we're changing the lines.
No, I don't think you are. You're changing the lines. We gave out Paro He fought on Tuesday versus Lewis Crocker. It's a title fight in Australia. We gave out Paro at minus 150. Paro won the fight. We won that pick. It closed at minus 240. We gave out De Los Santos plus money underdog. He's now minus 150 favorite. Even in the one you're talking about now, and we're going to recap the Boots fight, gave that out as a plus money underdog, and it closed as minus 120, the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, again, I like De Los Santos. He this is a rematch from 4 years ago? I think it was about 4 years ago. So you got different fighters now. Obviously, Valenzuela has he won a world title, lost a world title since, so he's a different fighter. But when I broke the fight and handicapped the fight, the lines had Valenzuela as a favorite. So I took the dog, De Los Santos, and we gave it out as the dog. So we're sticking with, we gave it out, and we were getting plus money.
That fight is on a Sunday night, being tomorrow. It's still Sunday morning now, I guess, here, 2 a.m. for us. But when this airs, that fight will already have been over and taken place.
Yeah, because this will go up Monday.
That's right.
No, 100%. Look, let's get into the Boots fight. I don't know where to start. I start where, for me, it really all should start. Where we've been saying for years now, or proclaiming, Ennis the next great thing. Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns. I'm going back to the 80s when you had the welterweights. It was crazy. Benitez. Yeah, I mean, you had all these great fighters. And so we kind of anointed Boots Ennis as that guy. And we were hoping he was going to fight Crawford so we could definitively know. But they never fought. That's the bottom line. We won't get into this, that, who did or didn't want. It never happened. And Ennis, he beat the welterweights that were there, and then he has moved up to junior middleweight. Here's the point. This fight, he was a huge favorite, and they were right. My son got it right. The handicappers got it right. Sometimes they don't get it right, but they got it right. There was a reason he was the favorite. But he was proclaimed this sure great superstar fighter, and he became a star. There's no doubt about it. Tonight, he verified being a star for me. Because going in, I'm not afraid to say, I say what I believe. As some people, they hate, they throw things at you. It's fine. That's what makes this thing what it is there's give and take. You have a chance to agree with me and disagree with me. But he never had that signature. Ali needed Frazier and other guys. Boots, for all the talent, again, we proclaimed them this sure thing, surefire, great fighter, without having that signature fight that confirmed it, and this was that fight. Now, the kid was too young, but it don't matter. This became that fight. And I said going in, we're going to be left after this fight one of two ways. And I said this before. We're going to be left where they're going to say the manager, the promoter, this, that, of Zayas put him in too soon. He needed more seasoning. He was 23 years old. He needed more seasoning. The other guy's 28. He needed more seasoning. He needed a little more experience. Took the steak off the grill too soon. Seasoning. You got to put a little seasoning in there. Make the steak perfect. And, or 23-year-old kids do win. They do. They do rise up sometimes. They do become that star. So or you're going to be saying that we proclaimed Boots and we gave him all these accolades too soon. He hadn't had that fight yet. We gave it to him too soon. At the end, I said, I think this fight will test the waters for both guys. Too soon for this guy? This guy really is the guy. He is the guy that we've been throwing the flowers at. He is that guy. And you know what? Yeah, he was more mature. Yeah, he was more experienced, but he got tested. In that third and fourth round, after dropping Zayas in the first round, and Zayas showed tremendous heart. But so did Boots. he got rocked. He got rocked by the bigger guy in the third and fourth round. And he came back and took control of the fight. He took control. He behaved like a champ. He behaved. Forget about how he fought. We know how he fought and how he always fought. He's a good fighter, solid fighter. He could do everything. But he behaved like that guy. He behaved like a world champion special fighter. And so, again, he already was a star. And I told my son during the live stream, but he was a star, but tonight he confirmed the right to be a star. And the reason why I like what the strengths and the pros and cons, the strengths and weaknesses, I wrote it up in the report. I don't tell you anything after the fact. I tell you before the facts, and I stand by it, good or bad. In the report, I said, the thing about Ennis that makes him scary is that he's very accurate. He's a good puncher, but he's accurate. He's a sharpshooter. He's an assassin. He's a sniper. He places punches really well. He, to the body, to the head, he times you, he punches with. The last knockdown, he timed him. As he was throwing a punch, he timed him with the uppercut, right in midstream, in the pocket. He is a solid, and he can do a lot of things. But he gets hit. He does get hit. And he did that tonight. He showed that he got hit. So before you start to, they all get hit, but you can hit them. Anyway, he got hit. Here's where it fell for me. When I wrote the report, I had it wrong. But I tell you what, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go into my mind. I'm going to let you come into my mind, into the Atlas world. Atlas's world, if you will, for a minute. And how I came up and how I broke this fight down. I came up with past performances. I went by their track records. What else am I going to go by, right? I went by what I thought I could expect performance-wise, habit-wise, by both fighters. And going in, I marked down the best assets for both guys. The best asset I wrote down for Boots was accurate puncher, good puncher. Yeah, the other guy's the naturally bigger guy, but the puncher here, only one guy, Ennis. He's the puncher, even though the other guy's naturally the bigger guy. And then I wrote down as the greatest trait asset for Zayas, his legs. I wrote it down. His legs. His mobility, his ability to move, to give out, to pot shot, to counter, but his legs. And that he needed his legs and his jab to move on the outside, not stay in front of the guy who's an accurate puncher. And who is the puncher in this fight? I went by that. Guess what? Son of a gun! They threw a monkey wrench in my whole works, threw me a curveball, because whoever gave him that game plan, maybe he did it himself, should be fired. Okay? I said it. Because if someone gave him that, unless he did it on his own, whoever gave him that fight plan, if that's what they trained to do during camp, you know what? I don't know what to say. I was going by what I thought as a trainer they should do, and what I had seen he's good at doing, using his legs, keeping a guy who's a sharpshooter, who's a more experienced guy, keeping him off balance and having a chance. He went and fought a phone booth fight. Who knew that was going to happen? I didn't, but that's what happened. I got to tell you, they would interview. We put the audio off once the fight starts. Obviously, we're doing the commentating, so we put the audio off. But we're listening before we went on the air. And I'm listening to what's his name? This Todd DeBuff. He's the stepfather of Bob Arum, stepson. I'm sorry, of the great Bob Arum, right? The promoter for Top Rank, who obviously has Zayas, and he's getting old, and so DeBuff is more and more starting to take over for him. He's going to take over for Top Rank, and knows nothing about boxing. I mean, he's been there with Arum or never had a fight in his life, anything. But anyway, they're interviewing him, right? They interview everybody. So they're interviewing him. And we're listening to the interview. And I said to my son, oh my God, if that's what he's going to do, if he has any influence over him, or if that's really what he's going to get knocked out. He said, because Chris Mannix asked him, what does he got to do? He said, well, he's got to back him up. He's got to back him up. He's got to get in his chest. He's got to back him up. And I'm like, oh my God, if he does that, he's getting knocked out. I mean, that's surefire. He's getting knocked. I mean, I can't believe he's like. So then I said, look, he ain't gonna listen to him. Hopefully because that guy, he doesn't know a left hook from a fish hook. So he's not gonna listen to him. I know he's been around with Aram and all that, but that don't mean he knows anything about the sport of boxing. And that's how he fought. That's how he fought. And he came out and he fought that way. Again, I'm going to say it again. I have no idea who his trainer is. I don't know if that was his game plan, but if it was horrible. You gave him no chance to win. And I know in the third and fourth round, he hurt him. I know that. But I said it live. You have, like the great Warner Wolf used to say, go to the videotape. You have the videotape if you don't believe me. I said live, even when he's staggering him, I said he's fighting him the wrong way. I said he's hurt him just a couple of times, no doubt about it. It's still the wrong way. Get out of there, move. Okay, you got away with it. You came back. You won 2 rounds. The third and fourth was close. You won 2 rounds. You came back. Box. If you keep fighting this way, it's the wrong way. You're fighting the other man's fight. And sure enough, it finally caught up to him. He showed a lot of heart. But you know what? Ennis showed a lot of heart too. And at the end of the day, I said to my son, when we were wrapping up with the live stream, we stay on and we have a Q&A. We have the people that they can ask questions, and we answer them. And they were asking different, who do you want to see him fight? Is it Virgil Ortiz? Is it Fundora? We went through all of that. And we'll touch on that later. My son will probably take me down that road. But I said to my son and to the audience, I always tell fighters, when young fighters come to me, and they still do, and they come to me and they ask me, Teddy, what is the most important thing for me to understand? I know that there's so many things that you got to learn, and you learn on your way up, and, the jab and controlling range and combining offense and defense and all that stuff. Don't take a picture after you punch. I mean, just so many things. But what is the most important thing if there was one thing for Teddy Atlas? And I said, you have to have an identity. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you are and who you are. You can't be Muhammad Ali 1 minute and then the next round, Joe Frazier. Somebody told this Zayas, game kid, that he was Jake LaMotta. He's not Jake. Not Jake LaMotta! But he fought like Jake LaMotta. Who the freak let him fight that way? And you gotta have an identity. I say it again. You have to have an identity. You have to know who you are, what you are. He should have read my report maybe if he didn't know. Because what he was and what he has shown himself to be was a guy that had good legs, a guy who was mobile, a guy who's fighting a guy who's not as mobile. A guy who's got to be set to punch. He let him be set right in front of him. Right in front of him. And look, Ennis, God bless him. He fought a great fight. He showed great heart. He fought southpaw. He fought orthodox. He mixed it up a little bit. The whole thing. He looked like Crawford in there for a minute as far as, Crawford's one of the best switch hitters. Mickey Mantle was the greatest switch hitter I ever saw. But Crawford and probably Andre Ward are 2 of the best switch hitters I've ever seen in boxing, to be quite frank with you. I mean, they were tremendous. And he mixed it up pretty nice. But at the end of the day, again, he showed a lot of heart, but he didn't fight smart. And again, I say what I believe. And people like me and they hate me for it. Whatever. But I say what I believe, and I don't worry about making friends or that. I just say what I believe and what my experience tells me to say. That's my job. He fought a dumb fight. He fought a dumb fight. You know, Charles Barkley, I love Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, when he's a fight fan, by the way, when he was doing the basketball and the Knicks were, by the way, New York, thank you, congratulations to us. You know, that the Knicks won, yeah, okay. And the Knicks won the championship. First time in 53 years. 53 years. Anyway, they were fighters. They were fighters. They fought back. They were losing almost every game, and they came back. They set the record for the biggest comeback, 29 points. They were down in the second half, and they came back in the biggest comeback ever in NBA Finals. But anyway, the point I'm making is Barkley, he says what he believes. That's why I love him. He doesn't care if you hate him. He doesn't care if he hurts your feelings. And he said in the comeback fight, and that's really what changed the whole series, when they came back from 29 points. Barkley said after the game, they are the dumbest team I've ever seen. He just came right out. He just said it. He goes, and everyone was like nervous around him. Like even Shaq, you know, Shaq's great. But they're all Kenny Smith, you know, they're all like, and he goes, no. He goes, they're dumb. He goes, that is the dumbest team I've ever seen to blow that lead. You had to do dumb things to lose that game. He fought dumb. He fought with all the heart in the world. But it was dumb. I'm not trying to knock him. I'm just being honest. I'm doing what I do. So at the end of the day, he showed a lot of heart, but he got broken down. He took a knee at the end. You know, he got, nice body shot. We saw the headshot, but nice body shot. I think they missed that. I don't know if they saw. He planted a body shot before he went. He went to the body so well. Body and head. Ennis. Boy, oh boy. But he broke him down. He made him give in. He made him. I'm not taking away from how much heart he showed. Oh, my goodness. But he broke him down at the end. And I think he'll be a better fighter for. I do. He's only 23. It's not like we got a case here where he's been taking a lot of punches and, you know, he's going to be ruined for life. And, you know, he's 30 years old and he's 33 years old, whatever. He's 23 years old. This is the first time he ever took a beating, you know, this kind of punishment. And he's going to come back and he's going to be a better fighter for it. And I hope a smarter fighter. I hope one thing for him. I do. My trainer's side to me, that he knows who he is after this, that he knows who, because even though he was the bigger guy, he wasn't the bigger puncher. But he fought, and I said this right at the beginning, Bud, remember? Right away, I said, I see what's going on here. I didn't need to see it long. He thinks because he's bigger, and he looked bigger, because he's bigger, he thinks that is what he's going to ride to victory. Being a bigger guy. That I'm just gonna outbig him. I'm gonna outsize him. I'm gonna do what that knucklehead Todd DeBuff said. I'm gonna walk him down and, you know, outsize him. No, you're not. No, you're not. Somebody's got to tell you, no, son. No, don't do that, son. Don't do that. That's it. That's like the late Jack Newfield used to say to me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Oh, you were excellent during the live stream commentary, and you were just excellent nailing this recap. You said during the fight, right, the one time that he showed some movements, the one time he had success in the third and the fourth rounds, it was probably because he was fighting on pure instinct and was out on...
No, after the third and fourth round. I think it was after he got...
He got dropped before that. The third and the fourth round was Zayas' best moments.
No, you're right.
And you were saying that he was fighting his best then because he was fighting on pure instincts, that he wasn't listening to the advice probably of the coaches or whatever that game plan was, that it was just going off of his natural instinct.
What was the round when he started moving, Bud? But that was
the third round is when he hurt Ennis.
Yeah, but then after the third and fourth, he had good rounds. Fourth round was close, but he had good rounds.
He got dropped again in the fifth after that.
Yeah, he got dropped, and then he came back. He got stopped in the seventh, correct?
Yeah, it went downhill after the third and fourth round.
Yeah, but after the fifth, when he got dropped, after the fifth, Bud, I just want to know what I said. In the sixth round, he boxed back. He moved. He did. He moved. in the 6th round, he had been hurt again in the 5th. And he started moving. And I thought the reason he was moving, first of all, I thought it was too little too late because a lot of damage had been done. But he needed to move. Because I even said when he came out after the 5th, if I'm in the corner, I'm telling him, don't worry about winning the next round. Get into the pattern you need to get into to survive the round, get better, and then we'll start winning rounds. But get into the pattern. Get into your head the way you got to fight, because it ain't this way in front of the guy. Even when he was having success, I said, that's still not the way. He's got to box. And in the 6th round, when he was boxing, moving, surviving, but moving, I said, he's fighting on instincts now. He's just doing things that really his instincts are telling him that he should do versus what whoever told him he should do that he shouldn't do. He was actually your instincts are always best. They're always best. And his instincts were right. They were telling him, no, son. Yeah, like he had been hurt. It's kind of like someone who has a drink before they can tell you what they really feel. And then they're free. They're free of inhibition. They're free of being worried about being laughed at. They're free and worried about who's going to say what they're just free. They're just telling you, it's like truth serum. When you've been hurt, sometimes when you survive it, you're just fighting on instinct. You're free. You're just doing what you have to do, just without thinking, just what makes sense. Your instincts. And in that 6th round, he was boxing that way. But it was short. He had been damaged. It was short-lived because then he fought. I'll be honest. I was surprised because I thought that's what we got to keep doing. And in the 7th, he went back to standing in front of him, and he got nailed that uppercut. Beautiful. I mean, what was beautiful, I always say, forget about the power. Forget the power. I know the power is important. But it's the delivery. It's the technique. It's the delivery. It's the timing that makes the difference with fighters. And Boots' timing, his delivery was beautiful. Zayas was throwing a punch. I think it was the right hand, whatever it was. He was throwing a punch, and as he was throwing a punch, I think it was the right hand, actually, Boots timed him with an uppercut. Bop! Right uppercut, I believe. And he never saw it. He never saw it. I think that was the whatever round that was. But he never saw it. And then, of course, he got finished in the 7th. I'm probably mixing up. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I know what it all culminated to. He got broken down. And you got to know who you are. You got to have your ID, your identity. You got to.
Yeah, and he didn't, and it was a mind-boggling game plan, as you just said thoroughly, about the wrong game plan by the trainer, by the promoter, by whoever was advising him. They let him down in those ways. You didn't see the feints. You didn't see the angles. You didn't see, as you just said, the movement. But what didn't make sense is in the lead up to this fight, he kept saying, I have the better feet, I have the better movement, and I'm going to show it.
He didn't show it.
And he didn't do it. And credit, obviously, to Boots. He showed us.
All the credit.
Yeah, that he can pass that test. He finally got the test you were speaking of, and he passed with flying colors.
And people are going to knock the crap out of, whatever, the game plan. I think it's rightfully so. And I think they'll probably knock the manager. They'll probably say, you know what? Took this a little too soon. You grabbed the money. You took this. And I ain't knocking him because he got him to this place. He had 2 belts. I ain't knocking him. But they're going to knock him. They're going to say, yeah, you should have waited a little longer. It's always obvious after it's obvious.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it turned out that it was maybe a little too soon because maybe that's why he fought so stupid. The lack of experience, the lack of maturity, the lack of seasoning, the lack of judgment, the lack, go on and on and on. At the end of the day, he fought a game fight, but a dumb fight. As Charles Barkley would probably, if he was here with me, Charles would say, yeah, that was dumb.
Well, Boots, congratulations to him. He's 36-0 now, 32 knockouts, Still only 28 years old. Everybody's already talking what's next, and it's one or two names that people want to talk about.
But I like this when we go back. He's only 28. Don't it seem like he's been around longer?
Yeah, I mean,
he's been around, don't get me wrong, but he's only 28 still.
But the question everybody wants to talk about is what name is going to be next. Is it going to be Virgil Ortiz? Is Virgil Ortiz going to be in the ring anytime soon? He's having issues with Oscar De La Hoya, his promoter, Golden Boy. Or is it going to be the tallest champion in boxing who happens to be in a 154-pound loaded division, Mr. Sebastian Fundora?
I'd sign up to watch either one of those. If it's Ortiz, it'll be, it could be a phone booth fight. Two good body punches. Two confident guys, two guys with great heart. Look, I say this. Virgil showed me a few fights ago that he had a dimension I didn't know he had. When he was just, going through guys, knocking them out with body shots, seeking and destroying, I don't think I knew or anyone knew that he had the ability to use his legs and box and do some boxing. He showed me that dimension. In that fight that some people thought he lost. First fight that he got tested. We didn't get a knockout with
Sergey Bohachuk.
There it is. I wanted you to say his name. I just wanted you to say. And he showed me that he could box. He could use his legs, and Madrimov fight.
Madrimov, yeah.
Madrimov, who gave Crawford a tough fight, Let's not forget that. Crawford, first time he's moving up to that weight, I get it, but he gave him a tough fight. The great Crawford gave him a tough fight. He handled him, pretty well. He won that fight handy. So he showed me those dimensions of more than just, seek and destroy. And that would be an interest. And then, of course, the giant, the Fundora. He's learning how to fight tall a little bit better. He is, a little better. But still, he is coming after you behind that jab. He doesn't stop. I don't know what his punch numbers are. They got to go through the roof. I think he jabs in his sleep. I think that he's, like if you went in and you peeked in on him when he's sleeping like this with that southpaw jab. The jab, he's coming out of the locker room. I think when he's eating dinner. He never stops. He don't leave you alone. And he's coming forward. He's always putting pressure. He's breaking you down. And then he puts punches together nice. He goes to the body. He throws uppercuts. He puts them together real well. But he's tall and he's a target. And, when he fights tall, it's a little tougher. But he's going to pressure because that's what he does. He's a fighter. And when he does, he is a target. He's a tall target. And is a sharpshooter. He'll find that target. And there's one other, and I'll leave it at that. Not only his head is a toy, and he's been knocked out once, we know that, but not only is his head a target, there's a tall, skinny body, lean body that's going to be a target for a guy who's a really good body puncher. It'll be either one of those fights, sign me up.
I'm with you. Sign me up for either one as well. And that was a good fight tonight. That was a great recap and a thorough recap by you. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to touch on some of the other fights that took place. And then we'll get into some previews. Before we do, just a quick pause. Thank today's sponsor, Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens, the all-in-one daily drink to support better health and peak performance. These guys spent 10 plus years with top nutritionists and doctors to create this formula. It's made from 75 whole food sourced ingredients. It has vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, and antioxidants. This is like an insurance policy for your body's health. Athletic Greens is giving our listeners 3 travel packs for free and a free welcome kit including vitamin D3 and K2 and AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. So whether you're looking to boost your energy levels, support your immune system, or address gut health, Athletic Greens is the way to go. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/atlas. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/atlas. All right, but the main event we just covered. Now we're going to get into the co-main event. That's Fernando Vargas' son, an 140-pound prospect, Emiliano Vargas, took on Bryce Mills. And Vargas showed a different side that I haven't seen before. He showed a side of fighting southpaw. Usually fights in the orthodox position. Came out southpaw. He got hit with a couple punches. He does need
This southpaw month or something? Like, is there something going on? Everyone's like
Right.
got an irking to fight southpaw. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's bring a southpaw home month? Be friends with a southpaw month? What is it?
I don't know what it is, but it worked. And it didn't take him long to get the opponent out of there. He did it in the 4th round. With that being said, he took some punches and some clean shots that were landed by Mills on him. He needs to clean up some stuff defensively, but he showcased some superior offensive skills, quick hands, good body work, up top as well, and finishing in the 4th round. Just want to get your take on Emiliano Vargas and his potential moving forward.
I'm gonna take as long with this fight as he took with Mills, and it wasn't real long. I'm really what you said. Good offensive fighter, speed and power. I love that combination. You don't always get it. Sometimes you get one or the other if you're lucky enough to get one. Speed and power, good-looking kid. His father, former world champion, was a big star. You know, the kid can be a star.
And only 22 years old.
Young kid. They're moving him along. Hey, I call it the way it is. You know, and I did it at ESPN, where people used to go gaga, gaga. They used to, oh, like he's the next this, he's the next that. I said, okay, hold on. Who did he just beat? Can you put it in context? Can we be a little honest? Can we pull back a little? I know you're working for the promoter. You want to keep your job. You're howling for your meals, whatever. But okay, yeah. All right, we saw some good talent. But who did we see it against? Who did we see it against? We didn't see it against, Pernell Whittaker. Not that he should be fighting Pernell Whittaker yet. But we saw it against a guy they picked. A hand-picked guy. A guy who had one loss, who had lost to a fighter who had a 500 record or 8-7, whatever. I'm not knocking him. Game kid, but a kid right in front of him that was there for him to show his stuff. He did show his stuff, but to your point, he also showed he ain't ready yet because he gets hit clean. He does get hit some shots clean. They got to tidy that up a little bit with the defense, but they got something. Yeah, they got a good-looking kid who can fight and whose father was a superstar, and he can punch. He's got speed. He's fun to watch. I love the way he does it. He doesn't just do it because he can punch. He does it because he got good technique. He's a counterpuncher. He throws beautiful counters to the body. I love the way he did it. That's what mattered to me. I expect him to get rid of this guy. He got hit some punches I didn't love, but I expect him to get rid. But he got rid of him like a good fighter should. That's it. I'm done with that. Done with this guy. Like Joe Pesci said in My Cousin Vinny. Done with this guy. Yeah. No more use.
Yeah, and it was... He did exactly what he was supposed to do, as you said. It was the right opponent. Mills only had 9 wins by knockout in 22 fights. He was able to get some rounds in. And he'll learn from this and correct some of those defensive mistakes that he made in this fight. But talking about opponents, another right opponent in the fight before that co-main event, this was Ben Whittaker's opponent, and he fought Richard Rivera. Now, Ben Whittaker made his U.S. debut, and it was his 4th fight now under trainer Andy Lee. All 4 fights, all knockouts. 2 in the first round, 2 in the second round, and this is one of them. This was the second round knockout. He came in as Popeye, and you said, hey, he didn't eat his spinach, Richard Rivera. But I just want to get your thoughts on this one. Since the controversial ending and draw versus Liam Cameron, with Andy Lee, he's on a roll. What do you make of this? And before people out there are getting carried away and talking title fights, it seems like he still needs another fight or two, in my opinion, before we start talking Benavidez, Bivol, better beef.
I said it about the little younger Vargas. I say it about Whittaker. He's got a great mixture of speed and power. Terrific. And he's got a great trainer. And he's coming into his own. I think he still needs more time. Hey, he hasn't been beating any, well, I used the word Jake LaMotta earlier. He hasn't been beating any Jake LaMottas or, any Sugar Ray Robinsons. I mean, he's been beating guys they put in front of him to beat. I think that it's time to start stepping up a little bit. And look, I'm not knocking him. I think he's great. He's going to be a star in England. He already is a half a star. He's going to be a superstar. Because one thing about if you can fight and you get an attention in England, you can come bigger faster than you can here. And I don't care if some people disagree with me, but I know it. You can become bigger because over here you gotta compete with NBA, with MLB, with NFL. I know over there they got soccer, they got snooker, they got darts. They got that stuff. Yeah, no, I'm joking around with them. I love the English fans, but you can build a guy easier there. You're not going up against Tom Brady and Steph Curry and whoever the latest star is. What's the name of the LeBron James? Or you're not competing with any of that. Over there, you build a guy up, and Hearn and Frank Warren have the formula of doing it. They've been doing it a long time, and they are masters at doing it. You can build a guy up bigger than you can here. It's. I don't know who you'd have to have here. Joe Louis would have to come back to be able to put 90,000 people into a freaking stadium. They put 99,000 in with Dubois and Joshua. They had to add seats. Tell me a fight over here, no matter how good they are, that you could do. You can't. That's the answer. You can't. And that's why I say it. So they're going to build him up. But right now he's beating the guys they're putting in front of him, hand selected, like anybody does. I'm not knocking them, but that's who he's beating. So before you go ga, pull back a little bit and be realistic about, put things in context and be realistic about, well, he hasn't really fought one of those guys even a little higher yet, quite yet. Again, they picked a guy with a good record, a guy that had been durable. I won't deny that with certain guys, but this guy's technique was so flawed. I told you he's going to get knocked out. I told you before it started. We didn't record that one, but I say he's getting knocked out because his technique, he's going to reach. And if you reach with a guy with fast hands who can punch, who's also a good counterpuncher, Andy's got him doing smart things. He's a good counterpuncher. He threw a nice counter right hand to drop him the first time. He dropped him. What was the first round, I think? I think he knocked him out in the second. He drops him with a right hand, reaching in as he jabs. You reach in with a counterpuncher who can punch with fast hands, you're going to get hit. You're going to get dropped maybe. That's what happened. Then the last one, he caught him a beautiful counter hook. From the southpaw position. He's a southpaw, right? Whittaker, I'm getting it right. I'm remembering him right. And he took a half a step back. He just took like a quarter of a step back and then set himself to punch right away. And he knew that he would get Rivera, who, again, his technique is not great. He's been durable. He's been tough. But he leaves himself open. And he reached in, right?
Yeah, he reached in. I don't think he is a southpaw. I think he did it from the orthodox position. I think it was a left hook.
Was it a left hook? All right, whichever it was. I know that he took a little step back, and then he just threw, they call it a check hook. It sounds cool. I hit him a check hook. Oh, yeah. But he hit him a counter hook. He timed him beautifully, took the little, set a trap, took a little quarter step back. That's what I liked about it. Again, same thing as with Vargas. I liked the way he got rid of a guy that he was supposed to get rid of. He did. I know the guy never been stopped before. I get it. But the guy was ready to be stopped against this kind of talent. And he took the little step back, quarter step back. He got him to reach in. As he reached in, pop, caught him that little short hook as he was punching and nailed him and dropped him. It was beautifully done, beautifully executed. I love when guys have talent and they also have the technique taught to them to deliver that talent. Beautiful.
Yeah, and it makes sense to go this route, right? I mean, he had that fight, a lot of controversy, Liam Cameron. You need to get his confidence back. His first couple fights with Andy Lee, new trainer.
He learned from that fight. That fight was, if he ever becomes a world champ, it's from that fight. Because that fight, he was falling apart. But some fighters do. But he was falling apart. He found out in that fight there's a big difference. He's a silver medalist from the amateurs. There's a big difference from being a star in the amateurs with all this talent, all this ballyboo about being built up and everything else, and being a pro. A pro, you have to overcome things. And that night he had to go. That night he got rattled. Things weren't going his way. He got rattled. Guy was still there. His talent wasn't blowing him out, and he got rattled. He got shaken. He got shaken to his belief core, and he started to lose it a little bit. And then, you know, he went out of the ring. He didn't get the fight. Then he got the rematch, and then the rematch, he showed how he grew from that experience. And
the change of trainer with Andy Lee.
100%.
Now he's got a couple of fights under his belt with him, and you just said what I was going to say. This is an Olympic silver medalist. We're ready for the step up. I'm ready to watch it. And I think it's coming soon. It has to be coming soon now.
I'm not saying it about a guy who had 20 amateur fights.
Right.
Then I wouldn't say it. I don't know how many amateurs he had. 100, 150. I don't know how many he had, but he had a lot. Silver medalist from the Olympics. Yeah, now it's time. It's time to step up a little bit. And again, for the naysayers out there that hate it, you know, they're going to say, Dirty, this guy never got stopped. He was picked for a reason. They saw what I saw. He reaches in. That's all I needed to see.
Yeah, they're going to say that, some of the people, and he hadn't until this fight, but he had...
And to his credit, he stopped him. He did what a good fighter should do.
Exactly.
And he did it the way a good fighter should do it.
And he did go the distance, I believe, with Badou Jack.
Badou Jack has been, I love Badou Jack, but he's been a shop-worn fighter for a few years now. I mean, you know, and this kid's got speed and power and timing and everything. But Badou Jack, he's been in a lot of wars. I mean, that guy's a bit of a shop-worn fighter. That's fair.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was a few fights ago, but anyway, that was another good recap. That covers the card, but we covered 3 of the fights there from the Barclays Center. I want to touch on very quickly a fight that took place Wednesday morning in Australia. That was a title fight. That was a welterweight title fight. And that was Liam Paro versus Lewis Crocker. This fight was a fight that you nailed. Your report was so spot on. You gave out Paro to win for the members over at the ropes, TeddyAllisBoxing.com. Paro at minus 150. And it closed at Paro minus 240. I'm pretty sure you are moving these lines. This now makes Paro a 2-weight division world champion. I thought he had the right game plan. He boxed, he used his legs, and he was keeping him at the end of the punch all night, Crocker. But Crocker did what you expected him to do, and you said in the report. He's going to keep coming forward. And he kept coming forward all night, and he had his moments. You said cuts may come into play. They did, but too late in the fight. In the 12th round, Paro was cut. Paro was able to hold on and win a unanimous decision, 115-113 across the board. I just want to get your thoughts and your take on that one.
Yeah, what I thought it would be. I thought that Crocker was the puncher. I thought Crocker had a chance to hurt him. If he was going to win the fight, it was going to be by knockout. Simple. I didn't think he was going to win the decision. I thought Paro's too busy for him. He was going to use his legs, you know, pick spots, try to keep him more balanced, in and out, you know, and he was the volume puncher. Not the puncher, but the volume puncher. That he would be too busy. That his punch numbers would be a lot greater than Crocker's. But I thought Crocker's game plan would have to be, and it was, to come forward and try to break him down with pressure and try to catch him. And he did in the 11th and 12th in the championship. He did. He finally caught up to him, and he gave him hell. He gave Paro, if that was the old days of 15 rounds, Crocker maybe wins. He gave him hell. Give him credit. He gave him hell in a championship rounds, as they say, the 11th and 12th. He hurt him. He had him on the run a little bit. But give credit to Paro, the former champion, and once again champion now. He survived it. He showed heart. He survived it. He survived the scare. The one thing that I would knock Crocker for, not knock him, I mean, he showed heart. He had his moments. There was spot. He was the guy, I don't know I forget what the scores was. I think it was 115, 113 across the board. And he was the guy that never was outworking Paro, but the rounds he won, you'd give him because he landed the harder punches. That's just the way the fight was. He would land the hardest shots. Paro landed some good shots, clean, but not the hardest shots. Crocker, less punches, but harder shots. Paro, just a lot more punches. Only thing that I thought Crocker could have done a little better, where instead of giving him a run in the 11th and 12th, where he really did, maybe he could have got to him a little sooner. I thought he should have went to the body from the beginning more. I thought he should have invested in the body, because Paro was going to use his legs. He was going to move. And there's no better way to take away somebody's movement with their legs than to take air out of those tires and go to the body. And he didn't. Not enough. Later on, a little more, but he should have went consistently. And I thought he should have used the jab. Paro did. But I know Crocker was the puncher with the hook and the right hand and all that stuff. But I just thought he should have used the jab to stabilize Paro on the outside more and make it harder for Paro to counter him on the way in. The jab and the body work, I thought could have been a little more for Crocker throughout the fight. At the end of the day, he made a run for it, down under. I don't think he, you better go to the body soon, and you better use your jab if you think you're taking the title home from the hometown kid in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a fun fight. It was a competitive scrap. It was a fun one to watch. And you just talked about down under and taking the title away from him as Paro did. That's the one thing, if I'm Lewis Crocker, that I'm a little upset, maybe disappointed with my promoter and Matchroom in this case, and Eddie Hearn. You're the world champion. They lose the purse bid. Instead of fighting at home in the UK, you got to go to Australia. With those scorecards, 115, 113 across the board.
Could have been reversed.
It could have been reversed at home with the crowd, with the ref maybe on his side, with the judges, and maybe he's still the world champion. Instead,
That's fair.
Yeah.
And look, it's hard to knock Eddie Hearn. He's one of the premier promoters in the game, anywhere in the world. I mean, not just in the UK. Anyway, him and Frank Warren.
Right, and I know you can't win every purse bid, but I'm just saying in that way, maybe he's still the world champion. And instead of Liam Paro maybe fighting Paddy Donovan next, it would be the trilogy for Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan.
Purse bids are important. I mean, sometimes they're more important than other times. Sometimes it don't matter as much. You can be a Haney when he went over there twice, and he beat
George Kambosos.
He beat Kambosos, twice, not just once, twice, 2 in a row. And it didn't matter because he was the better fighter, and he was gonna handle like they used to say. I got my judges right here.
Right. Well, we're gonna finish up with one more fight, and that's gonna be a preview. That's gonna be for next week, 4th of July, Saturday night, and that preview we're gonna do is a homecoming fight for the youngest champion in boxing, Abdullah Mason, fighting in Cleveland, Ohio, his hometown. He was supposed to be taking on Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina had some issues with getting a visa, not able to come over, and a late-minute replacement is Albert Bell. Albert Bell has a nice record. He's 28-0, only 9 knockouts. That's about all I know about him. I know he was training for a fight coming up.
He ain't young either no more. He's 33, I believe.
He's 33 years old. He was training for a fight coming up, I believe, versus Andy Cruz. So he's been in the gym. He's in shape. He should be ready in those ways. But for those who aren't familiar with him, just get a quick peek into his style, the difference in this fight, and what you think for Mason and Bell.
Am I giving this on the ropes? Should I give him the whole enchilada here?
Give it all.
Give it all? The whole enchilada?
That's it.
The the whole 9 yards, the winner, the whole thing. All right, I'll give it to her real quick. Mason, as my son said, originally was fighting Cordina. I thought he was going to knock out Cordina. Tough kid. Been stopped once, only once. But a real tough kid, but a kid who engages, a kid who comes at you, a kid who, who's going to go and, sit in the trenches with you. And a kid who was going to allow an explosive young Mason, who I think after winning the title is only going to be better now. He's only going to be better. He's only 22 years old, like my son said. I think you win the title, you get 30% better. The old timers Cus would always tell me. And I've seen it. And I thought he was going to stop Cordina. I had it in my pick. I had it all done in the report. He stops him, take the under, whatever it was, because he was a big favorite. 12-1 favorite, whatever. So I couldn't do that. Couldn't say take Mason. I'm not going to lay 12-1. I said take the under. It's changed dramatically. Usually, the guy who's got the full camp has the edge when it's a fighter coming in on short notice. The guy on short notice, he might not be in shape. He didn't have time to get ready for that style, and he's coming in. But you see a lot of, in the old days, upsets when guys come in on short notice. There's a reason. Because the guy who's supposed to have the edge, the guy who had a full camp, the guy who's the favorite, all of a sudden that edge becomes not an edge. It's a disadvantage. It's a negative because he prepared for a whole different style. A whole different style. He was preparing for a southpaw in Cordina for the whole camp. Now he's fighting an orthodox fighter. That's number one. He was preparing for an aggressive fighter. Now he's fighting a guy who's not aggressive. He was fighting for a guy that was his same height, size, maybe a little different, but basically the same. He's fighting a guy now who's 6 foot tall, a much taller guy who's got a really long reach. Mason's got a good reach too, by the way, even though he's shorter. But everything has changed dramatically now. He's had no time to prepare for this new guy, where he was preparing for the other style the whole time. They have to change in midstream now. That's something to do. That's a test for this young kid who just became a champion. Bell is a guy that this is his moment. This is James 33. It ain't going to happen again. He's undefeated. He's got a difficult style. He fights on the outside. He knows how to fight. He's got good skills. He's not a big puncher. He don't have a lot of knockouts. But he's a guy that can catch your counters. He can keep you at the end of his jab. He can set trap. I mean, he's a guy that is, again, the complete opposite. You couldn't get more of a contrast in styles from who he was going to fight to who he's fighting now. Completely different. Guy who counterpunches, guy who fights tall, guy who's on that. You got to go look for him. You got to find them. You got to track them down. The pressure's on you now. Whole different style. The only thing about Bell that I didn't like was he's got great timing, great reflexes, really good skilled fighter, and a difficult style because of what I just explained and described. But he drops his hands a lot. And he does go straight back. I'll tell you, Mason closes gaps fast. He's a quick, explosive son of a gun. Quick hands and quick feet. He's going to have to close that gap fast and catch him pulling back with his hands down. Because he does pull back with his head up and his hands down. He's going to have to catch him that way. Because one thing about Mason, why I love him, every fight he looks for the knockout. Not in a stupid way, not in a reckless way. I mean, he's a good buttoned-up fighter, but he's always looking to knock you out. That's what I loved about Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, a whole different story, different level. He would wish he could become a Sugar Ray Leonard. Who knows? But Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the greatest fighters ever, one of my favorites. Everybody knows that. But he was always looking to get rid of you. You know, I mean, yeah, he would out speed you, he would out finesse you, he would out this, he would out, but he was a mean junkyard dog. This kid is always looking to get rid of you. He'll be doing that. He's got to be careful with this one, because when he's trying to get rid of him, if he reaches with this tall son of a gun, he'll get counted. Again, whole different style here. I was taking the under when he was fighting Cordina. No knock against Cordina. I explained it. I just thought that he was a perfect style for Mason, especially now that he's champ. He was going to show his stuff. And at home in Cleveland, he wanted to get that knockout. And I thought he was going to get it. Now I'm looking at over. Whatever the line, I don't know what the props are, but I'm looking for more rounds now.
Yeah, the props aren't up yet. They only have the line listed, as you touched on in the lead-in. Mason is a big favorite. He's still over a 10-1 to 12-1 range favorite. Sure. But when the props come up, we'll have it. We won't have it in time to be able to talk about it here. But for the members over at TeddyLivesBoxing.com, the ropes, you'll get the props, you get the pick, you get it all with the full report. And with that being said, we're not going to cover now. We just recapped a lot and previewed. But you'll get one more fight over at the ropes. And that's a kid you're very familiar with, to say the least. A kid that has, since he's a little boy, been a member at the gym that your foundation, our foundation, Dr. Atlas Foundation, subsidized, that he trained in. And that's Bruce Shushu Carrington. He's going to be making his first title defense of his featherweight belt against Rene Palacios. So always fun to watch Shushu fight, and that'll be another good one. If you guys want to get Teddy's full preview, pick, report for that, again, TeddyLivesBoxing.com. The ropes, we'll have it there. And with that being said, bud, that covers another great episode, another really good night of fights. Glad to be with you. It was a lot of fun doing the live stream. For those of you who missed it, go take a look. It's here on the YouTube channel. You can watch the recap, live stream, Teddy's commentary. And any final words? Sign us off before we could finally get some sleep.
I'm tired.
Me too.
God bless everybody. Thank you guys. As I said at the beginning, we appreciate you for being here with us. So whatever we got to do, we're going to do our best always to be there for you, because you're there for us. Thank you.